On a cold Sunday morning in Lancaster County, before the sun clears the tree line, the roads are already filling with horse-drawn buggies. Their passengers are not heading to a vacation or a football game. They are heading to worship. But they are not going to a church building that belongs to everyone. They are going to a home that, this week, has been chosen to hold them all. Most people picture the Amish working in fields, building barns, or hanging laundry on a line. We rarely picture them at rest. But Sundays are the rhythm beneath the rhythm of Amish life. They are when farmers step away from the plows, mothers set down the mending, and children run freely across a yard that doesn't usually belong to them. Every other Sunday, the community gathers for a service that lasts close to 3 hours, inside someone's home. On the Sundays in between, the day feels quieter still. So what actually happens between sunrise and bedtime on an Amish Sunday? Not the myths. Not the postcards. The real version, from the moment the lanterns are lit to the moment the last buggy rides home. At the heart of Amish Sundays is a simple rotation. Every Amish church district, which is a small cluster of usually 25 to 35 families, holds worship together in one of those homes about every 2 weeks. On the alternating Sundays, the district simply does not gather officially. There is no bow-tied pastor and no steepled building waiting for them. The reason for this rhythm is not convenience. It is history. The Amish emerged from the Anabaptist movement in 16th and 17th century Europe, a religious tradition that valued adult baptism, plain living, and the independence of each small congregation. When those early believers arrived in North America carrying little more than their faith and a printed hymn book, they had no resources to build cathedrals or seminaries. So they built their churches out of something they already had on hand. They used each other's kitchens and parlors. The schedule is decided by the bishops and ministers at a yearly planning meeting. A rough calendar is agreed upon, and then, with a few adjustments, families take turns opening up their homes. On average, a given household hosts the entire district about once every year or year and a half. And because the service draws close to 100 people, sometimes more, hosting is no small task. Furniture gets pushed to the walls. Kitchen tables are stretched across rooms. Benches and folding chairs appear out of sheds. This is the first thing an outsider would notice if they stood quietly that morning. Despite the silent roads and the unhurried air, the host family has been awake for hours already. In many Amish homes, Sunday morning begins before dawn. Animals still need to be fed. Cows still want to be milked. The host family, knowing that more than 100 guests will soon file through their door, has been cooking since the night before. By 7 or 8 in the morning, women and older girls are arranging platters of food. Sliced ham and fried chicken, creamed celery, pickled beets, jars of chow-chow, pies, bread, and soft dinner rolls the long tables. This is not a ceremony of rare ingredients but of abundance. The Amish believe that sharing a meal in the spirit of fellowship is itself an act of worship. So the table is treated with the same care as a sermon. Menu planning is shared across the district. Each family brings a contribution so the host is not crushed under the work. The water buckets on the porch are filled. The wood stove is banked early so that the house is warm by 9 o'clock. Even small details like which wash basins will be used for hand washing and where the children's coats will be piled are quietly decided before any buggy arrives. Meanwhile, in homes that are simply attending, not hosting, the routine is shorter but just as purposeful. Clothing is not chosen casually. Women step into long, solid-color dresses with aprons. Men button into plain shirts and trousers. Their best hats are set near the door. Boys carry their shoes in by hand until the last possible moment, because clean leather is treated like a small promise. The patience required to dress for a service that begins hours from now is itself part of the day. This is where the Amish Sunday reveals itself in a way most modern viewers do not expect. It is highly choreographed. People know what role they will play. They know when they will speak. They know where they will sit. Even the children know whether they will sit with their mother or with the other young boys, learning the order of the room before it ever fills. By 8:30, the buggies are starting to move. They leave the farm lanes in families. The wheels creak against gravel. The horses' breath clouds in the cold month. 3 or 4 buggies in a row are common, since families live near each other, and you can travel for miles this way, sharing the road shoulder to shoulder. The pace is slow and deliberate. There is barely any talking among passengers. Children whisper. Mothers hum tunes. Fathers drive with one hand and pray silently with the other. There is something striking about the lack of any hurry. Modern Sundays for most people involve rushing to a service and then rushing home to plan the rest of the day. For the Amish, the trip itself is part of the prayer. The road is its own kind of pew. And yet there is also an undercurrent. Because so many families are converging at the same time, every road between farms has been quietly mapped in advance. Drivers know which intersections to slow at. They know which barns require a wider turn out of the driveway. Some districts even arrange unofficial flaggers, an older boy with a reflective vest meant to keep 5 buggies from converging at a blind corner. It is one of those small logistical moments that most people never see. So what happens when more than 100 people, all dressed in their best, arrive at a single farmhouse by 9 in the morning? The answer is the part outsiders almost never witness. By the time the guest buggies are tied at the hitching posts, the host's home has been transformed. The largest room, often the kitchen and an adjoining parlor combined, has been emptied of its everyday clutter. Rows of plain wooden benches line the walls. There are about 40 benches in a typical district, 16 feet long, hand-built in someone's barn during the long winter evenings. They are hard-backed. There is no padding. Men sit on one side. Women sit on the other. The dividing line runs down the center of the room, and it is taken seriously. Even the youngest children are taught where their place is from the very first service they remember. Mothers sit on the outside edges so they can quietly slip out with a wiggling toddler without disturbing the room. The service begins with the Loblide, the opening hymn, sung from the Ausbund. This hymnal is the oldest continuously printed book in continuous use among the Amish, with additions tracing back to the 1500s. Its earliest hymns were written by imprisoned Anabaptists awaiting execution in European dungeons. The Amish have been singing the same verses, in the same style, for more than 5 centuries. There are no instruments, no piano, no organ, just voices raised together. The Loblide alone can last between 18 and 25 minutes, depending on the district, because the Amish sing slowly. In some communities, one line of a hymn can stretch to 3 or 4 minutes. Speed is not a virtue here. Patience is. And once a voice drops out, another rises. The room breathes together. After the opening hymn, the ministers step forward. There are typically 2 ministers, sometimes 3, including a bishop who oversees several districts. Sermons are delivered in Pennsylvania Dutch, the local dialect that descended from the German spoken by immigrants 300 years ago, and scripture readings are reserved for High German, the older standard form of the language. To an English-speaking visitor standing in the corner, it sounds like German, but it is more accurately a German tongue borrowed into an English world, by people whose grandparents spoke it every day and whose great-grandparents brought it across the ocean in suitcases. Sermons are not read from a script. They are spoken at length, weaving scripture, personal confession, and quiet advice together. A bishop might speak for 40 minutes. A second minister might continue. There are pauses built in for silent prayer, where the entire room becomes so still you can hear the clock in the kitchen. Those pauses are not for show. They are an act of shared attention. The full service runs close to 3 hours, with hard benches and minimal cushions. Toward the end, the deacon, a layman elected to care for the practical matters of the district, will read a short list of announcements. There might be news of an upcoming baptism, a death in a neighboring community, a work coming up to repair a roof, or a thank you for the family that will host next time. Before the meeting closes, there is one more hymn. Then the room stands in place until the bishop has spoken quietly with anyone who needs personal counsel. Only then are the doors opened to the rest of the morning. By noon, the sound of 100 pairs of feet crossing a wooden floor fills the house. And this is where things begin to change. Not the rhythm, not the meaning, but the volume. After 3 hours of slow song and silence, the moment the doors swing open, the day unfolds into something warmer. After the service ends, the tables that were stored against the walls are dragged into the center of the room. The food carried in by every family is unpacked. Within minutes, the home smells like Sunday dinner in any farmhouse in rural America, but multiplied by 100. The meal is as unpressured as the rest of the morning. People do not line up at a buffet. Several tables are set up at once. The host sits first, in keeping with the order the bishop has quietly enforced. Conversation rises slowly. Amish community is famous for being tight-lipped to outsiders, but inside the district the chatter is sometimes loud and playful. Children who have been quiet for 3 hours laugh under their breath. Men swap stories about a tractor someone is repairing in town. Women compare recipes and promise to swap beans before harvest. It can take more than an hour just to feed everyone. Some districts cycle through the meal in 2 seated rounds. Once the last plate is cleared, groups begin to trickle out into the yard. The buggies are untied. Children scramble onto laps. Old men stand in small clusters at the edge of the driveway talking in soft Pennsylvania Dutch. Nobody rushes. For first-time visitors, this midday lull is one of the most surprising parts of an Amish Sunday. In a fast-paced, digital culture that bounces people between meetings, the Amish seem to know exactly how to leave empty space. The meal is also where community problems are gently raised, though never publicly confronted. A bishop may quietly ask a family how a teenager is doing during a game of checkers in the yard. A deacon may discuss a repair for a widow's washing machine off to the side of the table. These conversations are not prayer and not sermon, but they keep the body of the district alive. By 3 in the afternoon, the host's house is empty again, and the host family begins the long task of hauling benches, scrubbing tables, and preparing for Monday's chores, just as the close of Monday morning waits for every one of us. Pause with me here, because so far we have described only the gathering Sundays. But remember, the district only meets every other week. What happens on the off Sunday is no less revealing, and it may change how you see the rhythm above it. On the off Sunday, the pace inside Amish homes is identically quiet, but the shape is different. There is no formal service, so families do not have to drive. The roads in Amish country stay nearly as empty as a church Sunday. There is almost no visible work in the fields. Gardening, fencing, painting, and laundry are paused. Even milking may be slightly rearranged so that chores can be split later in the week. The day is set aside for rest, family, and gratitude. Mothers might bake something sweet. Fathers might take a young son for a walk along a road they've driven 1,000 times. Grandparents may have visitors from a neighboring district who arrived on the closest Saturday. Children read schoolwork, draw pictures, or learn a card game from an aunt. The Amish echo a line you'll hear in many traditions, that the best way to prepare for tomorrow is to live today well. In their way, that means a Sunday spent in conversation, prayer, and quiet tasks. It might include one Anabaptist devotional or a brief prayer before dinner. It does not include shopping, recreational travel, sports, television, or most music. In many Amish communities, even spending money on Sunday is considered inappropriate. Going to a store, paying for a meal, or buying gas is often avoided. The day is meant to feel like a small Sabbath within a Sabbath. Less waiting, less doing, less connecting to the wider world. After the early evening meal on either kind of Sunday, the Amish return to conversation and card games. They love rook and other group card games played around the kitchen table. Children are allowed to play until dark. Bibles may be opened. Hymnals may be opened. There is no obligation to pray constantly, but occasional spontaneous prayer may rise from any adult in the room, sometimes without warning, sometimes in the middle of a sentence about beans. If guests are staying because they came from a far district, they sleep in spare rooms or on simple cots in the kitchen. The host family may rise early and put on a fresh pot of coffee. There is always coffee. By 9 o'clock at night, the lamp is turned down. The benches have been put away. The next morning, life will return to its normal rhythm. Fields, milking, school, and the next 2 weeks of making and working, while the buggy drivers slip quietly back into the long loop of ordinary days. So why does all this matter to a viewer who has never stepped into a Lancaster County kitchen on a Sunday morning? It matters because in many places, the rhythm of a week has collapsed. People carry work emails through dinner. Children carry phones into church. Sundays have become just another day, slightly slower, with the same list of tasks. The Amish Sunday is a quiet reminder that a community can design its own tempo, with deep deliberation and a strong sense of identity. There is no shame in the Amish way. There is no claim of superiority. There is simply a long, careful experiment in slowing time so that meaning can grow. Every family in the district contributes. The host cooks. Others drive. Children sit quietly. Ministers speak. Nobody is paid. Nobody is excluded. The whole thing is held together by a willingness to keep doing it, week after week, year after year, century after century. This is what an Amish Sunday really looks like. It is not a frozen postcard of horse-drawn buggies and bonnets. It is a living, breathing rhythm built around silence, slow songs, hard benches, and shared food. It is designed to give a community a place to return to itself. What makes this even more interesting is how much of it is invisible. The visitor standing at the edge of the road sees buggies and hats and the long shadow of a man unhitching a horse. They do not see the hours of cooking, the silent prayer at noon, the soft conversations in the host's parlor, or the careful talk between bishop and family. The deeper you go, the more of Sunday there is. Next Sunday, somewhere in a Pennsylvania farmhouse, more than 100 people will close their eyes for silent prayer. They will rise and sing the same line of a hymn that their ancestors sang in a European prison 500 years ago. They will eat creamed celery off paper plates. They will load the buggies again. And when the road is quiet again, you can almost hear the week begin to hold its breath. Not every tradition has to be our tradition. But every tradition like this asks the same question. How will we keep our week from running away from us? How will we keep Sunday, or any day we set apart, from being swallowed by Monday? For the Amish, the answer is simple. They keep choosing it every single week, with one song, one bench, one plate at a time. If you enjoyed this look at a side of Amish life that you rarely see, please consider subscribing to the channel. We publish longer documentary explorations like this every week, and the schedule sits plainly on the channel page. Leave a comment below telling us which tradition in your own life you are most curious about. We read every one. Until next time, walk gently and keep your Sunday quiet.